Hi, my name is Reverend Brenda Merritt Mata, and um, I was originally diagnosed with bipolar 1 with psychotic features back in, I believe it was 1986. And I experienced ongoing depression mostly with recurring manic symptoms with psychotic features. I was involuntarily committed 6 times, twice for 3 months. I believed that the TV was talking to me. I believed the music was talking to me. I believed that celebrities were following me around when I was roaming the streets homeless to make movies about my life. I believed I was working with the Secret Service, and I would go into little corner stores and steal from them to work for the Secret Service to check their security systems. I would end up in jail for theft 3 countless times. They would inevitably put me into the psych ward instead of the jail. Sometimes they would keep me in jail for a month. Very psychotic. And so, when my daughter would have me involuntarily committed, it would be always for being gravely disabled, unable to care for self, of danger to self and others, would be the finding. I had been involuntarily committed twice to our Western States Hospital. It was terrifying. There were staff being beaten up, running down the hallway, bloody, running for their lives. Um, I also had like an underlying complex post traumatic stress disorder. I don't know if it was first and foremost or along with, or which was more prevalent. Um, I had symptoms where I had agoraphobia so bad that I was afraid to leave my bed to go to the bathroom or go to the kitchen to cook for myself. I would disassociate and lose sometimes 2 hours of my time because I would disappear. I wouldn't be in my body. So that was very dangerous. I remember coming to one time in the middle of the street, and there were cars coming, and I had no idea how I'd gotten there. Um, so you can see that it was very devastating. It was very dangerous. Um, I put myself into a lot of situations where I was in grave danger, and I was so incompetent, incoherent at times where, like, I would have money in my bank account, but I had lost my bank card, and I didn't even have the wherewithal within my thinking to call and get a replacement card or go to my bank to get my money, and I'd end up homeless instead. And I spent many times homeless because of that, sleeping in bus stops, sleeping underneath willow trees. My kids drastically, desperately looking for me. So I last had a psychotic episode of last year in August, about 11 months ago. It was drug induced that time. I was put on a drug called prednisone from some post-ops complications, and I did not have to go to the psych ward that time, but I was psychotic, but I was coherent enough to know that I was psychotic, and I was scared to death. The PTSD was very, very bad at that time. I had had a knee replacement, and it was the knee injury was from domestic violence, and the domestic violence flashbacks and panic and all the symptoms from the complex post-traumatic stress disorder had flared severely. And I ended up back in the hospital for pain management because the pain medicine wasn't working enough, and the pain was severe. They were giving me so much medication that I was overdosing, and they were pumping me up with Narcan, trying to save my life, and I'd wake up screaming in pain. and the surgeon said that it was from the complex PTSD. And that was in July of 2022, just a year and like a week ago. Um, and I started having all kinds of really severe shortness of breath. They didn't know what it was from. I kept ending up in the ER. They kept just giving me meds. I ended up on 13 meds, and I was so sick with side effects and so sick with everything else that was just horrific. And I finally ended up on 13 meds, still didn't have a diagnosis. And I was so full of side effects that I wasn't sleeping. I was in total pain of spasms in my muscles. And I started looking at the side effects from all the meds, and it was the meds that was causing the side effects and all the symptoms. So I threw them all away, and I went to a naturopath, and I had just started going to Agape International Spiritual Center. And one thing led to another. That was like in August, and in November I started doing Dr. Joe's work. In January I started breaking the habit of being yourself after doing 2 months of YouTube meditations. And I worked with a woman named Belinda Bloom. She was an advanced Dr. Joe student, advanced Tony Robbins student, and a master neurolinguistic programmer. And that was in January. And in March, I was walking to the store to get some fruit, and I knew I had to get veggies, even though I didn't like veggies, and I was a complete candy addict. I would eat like 3 pounds of candy every couple of days, and all I would do was lay around, and I was so depressed and miserable, and I would eat and sleep and watch TV, and that was my life. And I was going to the store, and I opened the door to the store, and like this childlike personality came over me, and I was like, "Ooh, I wonder what kind of veggies they have today." And I proceeded to buy $100 worth of produce, and I took it home. And 3 days later, I wasn't eating any animal food, and I knew I was healed. I didn't know exactly how or what, but I at the point was still on psych meds, Latuda, and some anxiety meds and sleep meds, and I proceeded to end up not having to take those. And now my psychiatrist is telling me that there's no reason for meds. There's no reason to even come see him. I can come see him if I choose to. My acupuncturist is like saying, you used to come in for disease and pain. Now you come in to know how to calm your elevated emotions. What doctor are you studying with again? And I don't have symptoms of 15 diagnoses that I was told were from a conversion disorder, which means they're from mental health issues. I don't have any symptoms anymore except a little bit of stiffness and soreness from mild to moderate osteoarthritis. I'm still working with that. I no longer eat any kind of junk food. I eat a whole food, plant-based, no oil, plantricious food culture. And I no longer lay on the couch watching TV. I am now a full-time student at Institute of Integrative Nutrition, where I'm learning to further my credentials as a holistic health advocate. And I'm learning from 95 professors. It's a dream career. I've been wanting to go to that school for 30 years. And all of a sudden, within 20 minutes, about 3 weeks ago, all my lifelong dreams came true in 20 minutes. And going to school is one of them. I have so much energy. I feel like running a marathon every day. I'm able to keep my emotions heightened, elevated about 95% of the day. If I don't, then I know to go back to the metacognition and the gratitude and to get into an elevated state again, because I know that attitude, mood, thoughts, emotions, and behaviors control my DNA expression of my genes that turn on and off disease-causing genes. I do morning and evening volume 2 every day and every night, every morning, every night. I do advanced Dr. Joe meditations that have been given to me by other students, and I know that's not legal, but they believed in me, and knew that I really needed to heal. And I'm hoping to someday work with Dr. Joe to get an AI powered portal for people that are on disability for medical or mental health issues like I am, and help them get to the meditations and the teachings that they need to without having to go to a week-long retreat. I had that vision in an advanced copy of Synchronizing Your Energy to a New Life. And I am hoping and praying that Dr. Joe can help me manifest that on his portal, on his website. And I am more than happy to be researched for any of this mental health stuff. I've had numerous advanced students come to me that have spent thousands and thousands of dollars at the advanced retreats, asking me to please reach out and be willing to be researched because they're too afraid to come forward and ask to be helped with their mental health. And they're asking me to be transparent, and I'm available. I'm ready. I'm worthy. I am so grateful for my healing. And when I found out that I needed no more psychiatric care last month, was the same month of celebrating 3 years of my son having passed away from 3D because he was over medicated for years on psych meds, and finally was so sick of being kicked out of school that he decided to self-medicate on meth and ended up dying in an accident because his girlfriend was driving high. So last month was a really powerful month for me, and I want to help other people heal from mental health so they don't go through what our family went through. Thanks.